This is Michael with XForcePC. Want to talk about situations and explain what a situation is exactly what you see here before me. I am located in Columbia, South Carolina. The weather is clear. It is noon. The runway is dry. I'm in the Cessna 172. So those are all things that can be saved in a situation. But let's say you have a certain situation that you want to fly periodically, and let's say they're weather conditions. So you can go in and edit your flight and customize the weather. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say we've got some moderate precipitation, some moderate storminess, and then I'm going to add a cloud layer here, a cirrus cloud layer, and let's add another cloud layer and make it, I don't know, broken cumulus. And then of course we can expand or contract that cloud layer. Then let's add a wind layer. I'm just going to throw some wind in here. And let's make the speed 17 knots, a little bit of mild turbulence, a little bit of gustiness, a little bit of shear. Oh, what else could we do here? I'm not going to mess with thermals. The body of water really doesn't matter unless you're flying a plane that lands on the water. Runway conditions, we'll leave those set to damp. And the visibility, let's turn that down to, like 5 miles. I think that's statute miles is what SM stands for, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got all that stuff dialed in here, and I'm going to hit done and apply changes. And so now we're in that weather condition. You can see the winds are kind of blowing the plane around a little bit. But again, let's say this is the situation I want to save because I want to fly this situation again someday. So what you do is you go to File, Save Flight. Now you don't want to save a replay. You want to save the situation that we're in. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to rename this so it's meaningful. I'm going to call it the Cessna Skyhawk CAE, which is the airport we're at. Stormy noon. And I'm going to hit save. And now anytime I want to fly that flight, I can just go up to File, Load Flight, and pick Cessna Skyhawk CAE Stormy Noon and hit load, and it will load the flight up exactly how I left it. You can actually be in midair and save your flight. So let's say you're flying across the country and you don't have time to actually physically finish the flight all in one sitting. Well, you could, I'm just going to put myself up in the air. You could, as we got some very stormy weather here, but you could take and save the flight. So save it as a situation again, and Cessna Skyhawk CAE Approach is what I'll call this one. Okay. And then let's go back and load our flight from the stormy noon that we did just a moment ago, just to show you that that will indeed work. There we are, right on the runway at the same time, same date, same weather, same everything, same plane. And I can go up here and I can load the flight I just saved a minute ago when we were in the middle of the air. That was the Cessna Skyhawk CAE Approach. Hit load flight, and there we are. We're in the air just where we left off. So this can be used for a couple of different things. Number one, it can be used if you are doing a long flight and you can't finish the flight and you want to pick the flight back up at some later date, or the particular situation, the weather, the location, the time of day is something you want to fly again in the future, as a repetitive thing. You can save the situation for that reason. Or it could simply be that you want to take off from a particular airport in a particular plane at a particular time of day when you normally fly, and you might want to save it for that reason. So when you exit X-Plane and you go to open it back up, you're given the option to load a flight right there. So we can load one of our flights right from the startup menu here. I'm going to say load save flight. I'll pick the Cessna CAE Stormy Noon. That's the one where we're on the runway. And it'll load right up to that spot. And so that's how you use situations. That's one of the better ways to use it. Really, I don't know. I'm sure there's some other reason or way you'd use situations, but those are the only ways I know of. And hopefully that helps you learn how to use situations.